Okay, this week I'm actually going to touch upon something that I have yet to touch on. It's called intermittent fasting. Now, the concept of intermittent fasting is, in a sense, you have like a shortened window to eat or whatever. So, in a sense, what you're doing is you're only eating between certain times in the day instead of just sitting there like you get up, say you say 7 o'clock, and my cat wants attention. Yes, as you can part of this video too. So, anyway, intermittent fasting is like the opposite of what most people eat. So most people get up and say like I'll use the 9 to 5 stereotypical job and everything. You get up at 7 o'clock, you have breakfast, and then like you get to work, and then maybe you have a snack in the mid morning. Then you have lunch, and then you have another snack, and then you have dinner at like say 6:30, 5:30, 6 o'clock when you get home. So you're pretty much eating all throughout the whole day. Intermittent fasting is pretty much like the opposite of that, as like, or some people say, well, skipping breakfast and everything. So you're in essence you still are having breakfast because you're breaking a fast and everything. So like in essence you are fasting. Like you say you have dinner at like 6 o'clock and you're done eating at like 6:30, or maybe you do have like a snack, a late night snack or whatever at 7:30, 8 o'clock. You go to bed at like say 10 o'clock. You're not eating from say like last when you're last eating at like 7:30, 8 o'clock with that last snack until 7 o'clock in the morning. So in sense you are fasting, but like the whole idea of like intermittent fasting is shrinking the time frame that you're actually eating. So I think the most popular window for eating would be like an 8 hour window. So for instance, using the stereotypical 9 to 5 job, instead of having breakfast at like say 7 o'clock, and you're eating all the way throughout the whole day until like 7 o'clock, from 7 o'clock in the morning to like 7, 8 o'clock at night, what you're doing is you're shrinking that whole time down to 8 hours. So like using the typical clock, you start at like say noon, you have breakfast at noon. So then you start eating at noon and you eat from noon until like 8 p.m. So now instead of like starting to eat at 7, you're now eating at noon. So you're getting that like 5 hours of extra fasting and everything. So now some of the concepts behind that is like autophagy, which means like you're in a sense letting your body get rid of the dead cells and replace them with the living cells and or newer cells to be able to like in a sense be able to recover faster with in a sense like, and that plus like you're also in a sense giving your digestive system that much more time to kind of like take a chill pill. So instead of like constantly like eating, like I said, using the examples that I've been using, you start at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're eating until 8 o'clock, your digestive system's going like, oh, man, we got more food to digest. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on? By shrinking that, it gives like your digestive system that much more time to like kind of like, okay, well now we don't have to digest, and it gives your body in a sense time to flip over to like oh hey look, now we can in a sense maybe we might have like the beginning of a cold or something that we don't necessarily know of, or we might have like little sniffles or something. By doing that, like it gives our body time to like switch over to like go help our immune system to fight that, and maybe we don't even get sick at all. Maybe we just get the beginning, and the next day we're fine. Now, that's one possibility and everything. So now I'm using the stereotypical 8 hour window that you can do, and that's probably the most popular one. There are other variations of it too. So for instance, there's also the 6 hour window. So in essence, instead of like eating from noon to 8 p.m., you're now pushing it back to 2 p.m. You're now in a sense eating from like 2 to 8 or something, or like or in a sense maybe you start at like eating at 7 o'clock, and then like you do like 6 hours of eating until like 7 o'clock in the morning to maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now the other another way is like what's known as the warrior diet, which is basically like a 4 hour window. So like imagine instead of doing the 8 hour window from noon to 8 p.m., or the 6 hour window from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., now you're just doing 4 hours of eating like from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., where you're in a sense within a 4 hour period you're sitting there getting in all your calories and everything. And of course you can even take that a step further and do what's known as OMAD, one meal a day. And of course, now again, what we got to have to consider is like, is it kind of you can sit there and get like a good 17, 1800, maybe even 1900 or 2000 calories in one meal. Yeah, it is possible, but it's like you're sitting there, like when you eat that much food in just one sitting, it's kind of hard to be able to eat your daily amount of food in just one sit and everything, especially when you're eating actual food and not the garbage that's out there. So that, but is it possible to do it? Yes and no. Like, of course, it all like anything, it all depends on like your schedule and like is this something that you can stick to? Like, if you're someone who's used to eating like all day, and like you're going to find it easier to break up your meals. Like, okay, for like for someone like me, for instance, having like need maybe 2,500 calories, it'd be kind of I'd be kind of hard pressed to eat 2,500 calories in one sitting. Now that's why I couldn't necessarily do that. So the thing is, if you're going into like, hey, look, here's a cool concept, let me try it out. Keep in mind that like you got to think of like, is this sustainable? Is this something that I can do long term? Can I do this not only for like a week or two or like a month or two? Can I do this over the course of like years, if not decades, and everything? So it's a tool, yes. It's just one, in a sense, one way of eating, and of course you also got to look at like what you're doing for your physical activity and everything. So, for instance, like if you're into bodybuilding and you're going to step up on stage for the Mr. Olympia, I mean, going the natural route, I'd say go the natural road, because I did make a video about steroids, and those guys that are stepping on stage for Mr. Olympia, those guys are on steroids. But you can go through do the natural bodybuilding road. So you wouldn't necessarily want to do intermittent fasting, because you have to be able to like in a sense of the hierarchy of getting protein intake. First and foremost, you want to like get the quality protein, plus you want to make sure you're getting the right amount of quantity and everything. So usual good base is like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and so it's usually kind of hard to get like 150 to 200 grams of protein in just one sit and everything. Especially when like protein and especially fat and fiber and stuff, those things tend to make you more satiated, so it makes you feel more full. So it's kind of like it's not impossible, but it's very hard when you're doing like one meal a day, and even doing like up to the 8-hour window that I mentioned. So intermittent fasting might not necessarily be a good thing if like you're into bodybuilding and you're looking to step up on the stage, like maybe going like the natural road of bodybuilding, because I'm still like, hey, no, it's a no-go for steroids. So you don't want to necessarily be like a Mr. Olympia, but that's here or near neither here nor there. And so that's basically a decision. If you absolutely want that, then that's on you and everything. I'm big on saying no to steroids and everything, but again, it's the same kind of thing like with the powerlifting. But in generalities, if you're looking at for like overall general health and everything, yeah, you could quite possibly do it. And like, could you like in an 8-hour window get in all the protein and nutrients and stuff that you need? Yeah, absolutely. Now, based on like my work schedule right now, I usually don't start eating until like probably about like 11:30, 12 o'clock, because I have tried eating before I train, and like because I am like I would be eating so soon before working out, I get nauseous and everything. So I tend to work out fasted. So then I tend to like in a sense have fallen into like doing an 8-hour window based on my work schedule. So that's another factor that you want to look into. So like your work schedule and like and how you're balancing like other things as well. So like you got to look at like your work schedule. Okay, like do you have kids, and are you running them around for their sporting events, their like theater, their orchestra, or whatever it is. So you got to kind of look at your unique situation and be like, oh, and ask yourself, okay, is this something I can use to be able to, in a sense, eat healthy and like kind of shrink myself down? And but the great advantage of it, of intermittent fasting, is that it forces you like, hey, look, I can only eat between this time and this time. So it forces you like, oh, hey, look, I have to like maybe say no to that bagel in the break room, and like, oh no, I have to say no to that donut because no, because like I don't want to start eating until like noon or something, like doing the noon to 8 time frame. So that's where it can kind of can come in handy. You can kind of force yourself, like, hey, look, I've got, like, especially when you're doing food prep, hey, look, I got my food prepped, I brought it with me to work and everything. I'm not starting to eat until noon, and then, like, after work, I'm going to go train, so I don't get done until 5, so I'm going to be eating from maybe, or I push it back to 1, eat from 1 to 9, and then I train after work, and you could do something like that. So intermittent fasting is just a concept, and of course, I can only, in 10 to 15 minute videos, I can only really touch upon it and be like, hey, look, here's something, a cool idea, here's something to think about and everything. So this week, it's pretty much about intermittent fasting, and, like, of course, like anything, you gotta ask, is this something that could be for you, and is it sustainable for you? So this is just pretty much another quick video on, like, another concept for, like, health and fitness.